Ladies and gentlemen, those who do not identify, my name is Elite02K, and welcome to part 2 of the Jawoodle and Fun Pimps situation. I decided after the extreme traction on the first video to actually investigate what happened. Since neither the Fun Pimps nor Jawoodle will be able to publicly talk about it as it's gone into legal matters via court, I've chosen to investigate what happened further. I'll be breaking this video up into time-stamped sections so that if you don't want to watch the full thing, feel free to move around to the sections you want to see. Now, I must clarify, because I don't want to be in legal trouble myself or have anyone else I've talked to who was nice enough to help me go through legal battles because of any sheer stupidity on my own. I consulted a lawyer, and I've used them in the past for a previous lawsuit involving someone I went to high school with. He specializes in defamation, slander, and a few other things. What I was trying to do with this video could come off as slander to the Fun Pimps, so I asked him to take a day, read the script I wrote, sent him all the relevant links to the relative content, all screenshots, emails, and private messages that I received from other people regarding the matter, outside of a few that outright told me that I would prefer you not use anything that I have. For legal reasons, I'm going to be reading off a slightly edited version of what I originally had in mind, and unfortunately, I did have to cut some of what I learned out simply because of the creators I talked to told me they didn't authorize our conversation for me to use in any way in any video format due to potential legal risks to themselves, which is understandable, no hate at all. For legal reasons, I must clarify that anything that is not directly shown in this video involving public posts or publicly available content posted by the parties involved in this controversy is to be perceived as mostly speculative, third-party opinions, or not verifiable to an absolute extent. Let's begin. First of all, I want to give a massive shout out to the community of 7 Days to Die. My video reacting to Jawoodle's defense video was the highest long-form content interactions I've ever had on my channel. I've made that video with 125 subscribers, and as of me filming this video, I'm sitting at 182. For a creator like me who's small, that is a huge celebration, and for that, thank you. Some of the best memories involving 7 Days to Die has revolved around, at least from me, the community interactions on blogs, Steam posts, Discord servers of other content creators that focus on the game. While a vast majority of you were supportive, there was, however, accusations by a few people in my comment section of taking advantage of the situation to chase my own channel growth. No shit, you dumb bitch. I don't know if you know this, that's sometimes what happens. How dare I? How dare I talk about a controversy involving one of my favorite content creators and one of my favorite games that I've sunk 1,000 hours into and use it to my benefit? The audacity I have, an opinion, and to want some sort of answer for an all-around terrible situation, cover it myself, and then proceed to potentially benefit from it. Oh no. Next. So what was my goal with this video that you were about to watch? Is it to destroy the Fun Pimps reputation? No. Fortunately for me, they do a very good job of that themselves. It's like watching someone cut off their leg because there's a skin tag on it. But that's not my goal. Was it to defend Jawoodle? No, even though I'm a huge fan of Josh's content, I've watched his videos for years, interacted with him through his comment section in Discord server when I was one of his Patreons. I simply want to get to the bottom of what happened, and that's exactly what we're going to do today. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it. So starting off, less than 12 hours after I posted my video, I realized that this was going to get traction. There was some serious attention being paid to the drama that was unfolding. Other people began making videos on this matter. I was not the first. I did start pretty early, though. There was posting opinions on Twitter, but not a whole lot was getting answered, really. So I did what any autistic man with nothing better to do and the courage to bother people to help him would do. I became CoffeeZilla. All jokes aside, I immediately began sending Discord messages, emails, comments under YouTube videos, and even messages on Facebook and Twitter to all the creators I've watched over the years, and even more than I haven't, all the ones I could think of pretty much. Together, I reached out to 32 total content creators for both Twitch and YouTube, with sub counts here ranging from 500 to 2 million. I just want insight. I don't want to get myself in trouble or anyone else, but to sit here and wait for a most likely year-long in court through the copyright system and civil court, while any answers we get from either the Fun Pimps or the purple Australian mad lad Jawoodle himself, I decided to strap on my big girl panties and get to work. Now, I will say, out of the 32 content creators I reached out to, almost everyone that responded was at least nice about it. Those who didn't want anything to do with it were polite about it. A simple, no thanks, man, I'd rather not. I don't want to get into any legal trouble, but best of wishes. Those who didn't mind helping me, even if they didn't want to publicly identify themselves, did end up providing answers to questions that we all want to know. Multiple people I talked to openly in their Discord, some were private messages, and even a few email responses. Like, even behind closed doors, a lot of these content creators were surprisingly nice. I've been a part of a few of their communities for years, and they're always nice to people, but like none of them even had to respond to the email, and for you to at least do that, that's nice. Thank you. Thank you guys for all of your help. Thank you guys for being nice if you didn't. I really appreciate your time. For some context, this whole situation is over Bandits being shown earlier than intended by content creator and former partnership program member Jawoodle for the Fun Pimps, being struck by copyright claims and taken down by the Fun Pimps and partner company Behavior Interactive. I highly encourage you to go watch Josh's original video on it. This right here is the original video of his defense. I will link it in my comment, in the description. Please feel more than welcome to go watch it. And then if you want to also, a bunch of the other community members, the content creators have made videos on that. Go look for that as well. For future reference, we're playing a drinking game. Apparently, my comment section started a drinking game. Take a shot every time I say the word bandits. For legal reasons, this is a joke. I'm not encouraging anybody to do this. But for moral reasons, if you do it, please record it so we can all laugh at your hospital visit. But this ended up being a way bigger deal than it needed to be. We've all know Bandits have been in progress for at least 6 years now. They themselves, the Fun Pimps, showcased models of them all multiple times. They've openly talked about how they wanted them to be Native American models that fit the Arizona setting, and have had them stated to be the main goal of the game in multiple roadmaps. Live streams, town halls, Q&A, posts and videos. This is not new groundbreaking news. This isn't some top secret fucking information that no one knew about. This wasn't us finding out that aliens existed. This was an oopsie poopsie. Someone leaked actual video content of a nearly functioning Bandits. Oh, there's gonna be so much editing of this video. The video of the Bandits got struck, but I can still describe what the video was. In the main problematic video, Jawoodle went into console mode, pulled up spawn commands, and seen the models encoding for Bandits in there. Josh, being the very curious Australian cat that he is, decided to investigate them fully. Spawned some in, began fighting them to test their AI pathing and fighting mechanics, and came to realize that they were functioning weirdly. Bandits have been theorized to be automatically hostile enemies towards you, shoot on sight, if you will. But the form of bandits that were in the patch that Josh was playing with, while they were pathing around and defending themselves, were behaving very weirdly and often acting they were aimbotting, and they were not doing it wasn't polished or finished content. Josh openly questioned this in the video, saying that something was off, he wasn't sure what was going on, and even openly stated that he thought they needed work or was unfinished. However, as you'll come to find out in the next section, where I questioned other content creators, the Fun Pimps, didn't acknowledge anything about Bandits in the patch notes, so Josh most likely assumed that this was just a surprise that they didn't mention. Now, the embargo for the early access build was released, and the final patches were introduced into the game without Bandits and other content like chicken coops that Josh had shown in his early access partnership program build. Almost immediately, someone from the Fun Pimps contacted Josh, asking him where he got that version of the build and asking him to edit it or take it down. Josh stated that he got the same build everyone else did. He didn't hack the game. There was no malice, but he wasn't going to remove the video or edit it without proper compensation, which is understandable. And they should have offered it to him anyways. The Fun Pimps and Behavior Interactive, this is the third time I'm filming this one sentence, tongue twister, no clue why, almost immediately copyright struck 3 of Josh's videos regarding the content that wasn't supposed to be there. And up until this point, neither party had talked about it. The Fun Pimps made pretty much immediately made a statement on multiple social media posts, and we'll go through that one more time. So I'm going to continue to give Josh as much credit as possible, so I'm going to be referencing his video quite often because these are verifiable. Other people that I talked to seen this, it's 100%. So April G, which is one of the partnership program managers, I believe, posted in the Discord, "Hey creators, I'm April, head of marketing for 7 Days to Die. During streamer weekend, content was shared outside of the intended version 3.0 release. Creators were informed of what was included in the build ahead of the weekend, and our developer live stream made that clear as well. We addressed it directly. But what we really want to talk about is you. Making a game is not an easy path. Part of that journey is the care that goes into how things are revealed. When that gets disrupted, the whole community loses something. The vast majority of you got it. You honored your early access, respected the embargo, and protected something that wasn't yours to reveal yet because you understood what it meant to the people who made it and the community waiting for it. That is not a small thing. Seriously, thank you. The creator program exists because of relationships like the ones we have with you. We are beyond grateful for this partnership." Now, after this was posted, a lot of people could no longer see Jawoodle's videos involving bandits and chicken coops. Somehow this message was leaked outside of Discord. This was the private partnership program Discord. Somebody from their audience, I don't know who, nobody told me who, simply don't know. It got leaked to the public on Reddit, Twitter, a couple other spaces. After this was posted, a lot of people could no longer see Jawoodle's videos involving bandits and chicken coops. And under the URL, when you try to go find it manually, there was a notification that this video was removed due to copyright claims by the developers of the game, outright naming the Fun Pimps in the copyright claim. People immediately began speculating, and the community became divided on whether this was malice from Jawoodle's end or the Fun Pimps. Now, after a few days, Josh created the video defending himself, which I reacted to. This one right here. And again, I'll link it in the description. After this video was released, a lot of other content creators began to speak out, some even dropping mild comments, and most of the community, even as of me making this video, now side with Josh. This caused a massive outrage to the point where review bomb strike began affecting the game, bringing the game to a current review score of, what is it? 50%. It did drop to, I think, 47% for a day or two. It's pretty bad. Now, we won't be able to hear either party talk further about this until the court case gets resolved, which, might I add, may or may not come to the same conclusion I do in this video. So what exactly happened? Let's go through this via the responses I got from other content creators and verifiable information from both Jawoodle and the Fun Pimps. First off, let's start before this even happened. Here you'll see the official early access to the 3.0 build Discord message from whoever the content manager for giving them the passwords is, and then it has a password that you can enter on Steam, which if you go to library, you go to properties, privacy customization, aha. So you can go here where it says private versions. This is where they enter their codes. Everybody this weekend, everybody mostly all the time, they never send private direct messages. It is always in the Discord server that they are all part of as content creator partners. 100% without a doubt, he got the same password everybody else did. Here we have the first, I believe, first private message between Jawoodle and the content manager. Hey, we saw your video on 3.0. Bandits and Chicken Coop isn't out for 3.0. Streamer Weekend build is 3.0 B252 and not 3.0 VB205. Now, the B numbers, those are like the beta builds. That's the form of the game that they're working on that is getting put to them. As you can see, this right here, that's Bandits. Those right there, those are humans. Those are Bandits. We love Bandits. Are you drunk yet? Oh, we're gonna have so much fun with this video. And then after that, we ask you to remove this video. Please remove the YouTube short and TikTok with Bandits also. How did you get access to 3.0 V205? Josh says, huh? What do you mean? Are you joking? How have I got the wrong version? Content person says, no, I'm not joking. Bandits and Chicken Coop aren't in 3.0. What password did you use or build do you have? I'll have to go look. Josh says, I'll have to go look at what the version listing actually said. I just clicked on the bottom one and it loaded up 3.0. Josh, seeing this, immediately does step one of doing the right thing, which is issuing for his community a pin on the video. Now, this pin says, important update. It appears this video was filmed in an incorrect 3.0 build that I had access to without realizing it. It was not the current release build. Bandits, that word right there, that's blacked out, that's Bandits. In Chicken Coops are not part of the current 3.0 release. I filmed this in good faith using the build available to me at the time, and I had no intention of misleading anyone. Sorry for the confusion. Now, in the next set of messages, which we have here, content manager says the release notes that we provided also didn't have the Bandits or Chicken Coop. What version are you running currently on stream? Behavior really wants you to remove private your videos while they figure out together what happened. Can you do it now? The videos with the Bandits, that word is Bandits. We love Bandits. Bandits were promised to us 3,000 years ago. And Chicken Coop. I understand the issue, Josh says, and I understand the behavior and the Fun Pimps would prefer the video to come down. From my side, the access post did not specify a required build number or warn that another 3.0 labeled build would contain content that was not allowed to be shown, which is that's 100% fair and understandable. I used the build I was given access to. It displayed as 3.0, and I made the video in good faith based on the information available at the time. And we'll get to this in a bit. There was at least 3 other verifiable people that seen the Bandits in the game, but just like they dug through dev commands for 10 seconds. They said, oh, cool, Bandits, can't wait to fight those, and then never seen Bandits, and because of that, it never got brought up. Following that, Josh says, I'm willing to cooperate, but I'm not willing to absorb the full cost of a wrong build issue I did not create without that being recognized. Every proposed solution so far puts the professional, financial, and reputational damage entirely on me. Can you please confirm the minimum required action here and whether keeping the video live with an immediate pin correction is acceptable while Behavior and the Fun Pimps work out what happened? I'm not trying to make this harder, but I also cannot be expected to take the full hit for something caused by the build access provided. Unclear build instructions and timing of the release notes. And he said that later on, and a couple other people confirmed this, the build notes weren't given to them until almost 3 full days after they were given the Steam access password. That's a bit of a problem, ain't it? That seems like a failure to communicate and on their part, not Josh's part. We'll get to that. So after a while, Josh sent them back this. Given this involves my work, reputation, and audience, I would appreciate Behavior and the Fun Pimps speaking with me directly before making any public statement about me or my content. Also, given the seriousness of this and the impact on my work, income, reputation, creator standing, I'd like this to be handled through email rather than Discord. If any part of this request is coming from Behavior, I would like that communicated to me directly by Behavior, and then Josh sent them his email. Josh then, I assume, up to an hour or give or take later, gets a email directly from Behavior Interactive, which is the partner company for the Fun Pimps. Now, this message says, "Hello, Jawoodle. As discussed on Discord, we want to continue this conversation by email. First, we acknowledge that there appears to have been ambiguity around build access and versioning. We are not disputing that you received access to a build labeled as 3.0, nor are we suggesting that you intentionally sought out the incorrect build. That said, once in the build, you identified and showcased content that was not intended to be shown. While you may have received the release notes after finalizing your videos, you did not receive them prior to the official start of Streamer Weekend. At that point, editing the content remained an option. By your own description, you recognize that the material fell outside the scope of what was intended to be publicly showcased, as it was explicitly identified as hidden, and nevertheless chose to feature it in your coverage." Now, I can kind of see this. Because I watched the video when it happened before it got taken down. How he found the bandits was he went into console mode. He turned debug menu on, and that enables spawning of NPCs, spawning of enemies, zombies, whatever. And he came across bandits. Now, he didn't intend to do that specifically in Find Bandits. What he usually does is, hey, are there any new zombie models that we can test out? What do they look like? All the fun stuff. And then he's seen bandits. It was bandits. It was so many bandits. Now, seeing that there were bandits finally in the spawning console program where you can spawn all the different enemies, he got excited. Now, he wouldn't have known that this was hidden content up until he played enough of the game to realize that, hey, the game's not spawning bandits. It was bandits. There was no bandits spawning in the game, but it was bandits. The content they're talking about, bandits. Having fun yet? Drunk? Hospital bills. I love it. He could not have known that bandits were not intended to be proper content until he played at least 10 to 15 hours of the game, did a bunch of exploration throughout the map. Maybe they were in endgame zones. Maybe the game was just buggy. There's a whole bunch of variables that they cannot shove this on him. To continue, we understand that removing or editing your videos is not a small request, and we do not dismiss that. At the same time, the public exposure of hidden and unfinished content has real impact on our team, including our future content plans, player expectations, and the experience we intend to deliver. The funniest part about this is, this could have easily been a W for them. We'll talk about this at the end. This could have easily been a W for them, and instead, they made it an L and then multiplied it by 2. So now there's 2 L's. There's 2 L's. Our content program is built on a mutually beneficial relationship. We provided privileged early access so creators can share upcoming content with their audiences, and that access comes with guidelines and a level of trust regarding what is and is not intended for public use. We value our partnership with you and have appreciated the feedback you shared during Bandits and Chicken Coops. It was so many bandits, definitely chicken coops. We want to continue working together. Debatable. While providing access to the incorrect build was our responsibility, we are asking that you work with us in good faith by taking action on the following content. For your long-form video, we are requesting that you edit the video rather than unpublish it entirely. This is reasonable, but they don't offer any compensation. I'm going to edit this video. This is probably going to be an 1.5 hour long video. By the time I stutter so many times, have to edit that all out. I have to redo certain parts of the video because I stutter. I'm a fucking idiot. I have to edit this video. I don't get lucky multiple times. That first video I posted, which was a one take, by the way, miraculous behavior. That was the established work of God speaking through me. That never happens. Everybody edits, except for me that one time. The rest of my videos are edited. Now, they continue to say, for your shorts and TikTok videos that specifically mention bandits, it was bandits, and Chicken Coop, we are requesting that you unpublish them. Please let us know if you have any questions. Thank you. Now, Josh responds, we don't see the full extent of the email, but we do see enough. He says, I respect that behavior and the Fun Pimps have full control over what you choose to include in the game, how you release it, and how you communicate future content plans. In the same way, I retain editorial control over my own published content. True. I do not work for Behavior or the Fun Pimps, and I was not paid to or contracted to create this video. This was independent coverage made in good faith from the build I was given access to. If this had been a paid contracted campaign, there would normally be clear terms in place around review, approval, change requests, takedowns, and remedies if something went wrong. That is not the arrangement here. This was unpaid creator access, and no agreement was made that Behavior or the Fun Pimps would have post-publication editorial control over my independent coverage. Now, he's kind of right, but he's kind of wrong here. He's kind of wrong because I talked to 4 people talked about this. We'll get to this eventually. To sign up for the creator program, it's kind of like an end-user license agreement. It's a bunch of fucking fine print that you never read when you sign up, and then you just deal with it when the lawyers have to get involved. But there is a clause of it in there, and I can't talk too much about that, but there is a clause in there where, like, if there's an accidental release of content that was not intended to be shown, you have to do the best to work with the Fun Pimps, or I think it states the developer studio, but you have to work with the developer studio to remedy a potential public situation. Josh is trying to do that in good faith. He hasn't said no, he's not going to. He's pretty much implying that, hey, I'll do it, but you're going to have to compensate for me. Editing takes a lot of time. I'm going to have to go through the video. I'm going to have to micromanage every fucking millisecond of details where it shows bandits. It was bandits, so many bandits, and chicken coops, and all the rest of the content like bandits that you didn't intend for me to have access to. That is completely fair to him to be compensated for that. He is not the cause of the mistake. He is not the cause of the massive blow up publicly. That is 100% on the Fun Pimps. Big stupid situation. For those of you wondering what people went to see when they tried to look up the video via the URL, this is pretty much on the right what they seen. It was removed following a copyright removal request by the Fun Pimps. The Fun Pimps and Behavior openly acknowledged that they probably fucked up on their end, forgetting to remove the game files related to Bandits and Chicken Coops before handing out the Steam access codes to partnership program members. But here's where it gets very interesting, is when you look at the responses I got from other content creators, both involved and uninvolved with their partnership program. And to clarify, I think 3 of the people I talked to were previous partnership programs, one up until recently, and then the other 2 was before they had the current Lurk It system, which we'll talk about. I asked them questions, a lot of the same ones you guys have been asking in the community. I've seen the conspiracy theories and the opinions and the thought processes. I asked a lot of questions, but I can't show any of the conversations that they asked me not to, just out of respect. I don't really know. Some of it is probably legal, like, hey, I don't give you rights to use this in your content. I understand. I asked them questions, a lot of the same ones you guys have been asking in the community, and I'll show screenshots of a Discord conversation. I'll use some of what I asked another creator in their Discord, but I can't show anything besides one full conversation because they asked me not to. The last one is an email I have directly with a content creator that actually blew my mind after I read it. So here is one I had openly, publicly in one of their Discords. Hey, seen tons of your videos throughout the years regarding 7 Days to Die. I'm a smaller YouTuber, but I have a moderate amount of understanding of the background processes of the developer-streamer relationship scene, as I've worked with both developers of a few games and a few smaller content creators. You aren't the only content creator I'm trying to get a hold of, and if you don't want to be involved in what I want to do, I fully respect that. But I was wondering if I could talk to you about the whole Jawoodle V Fun Pimps behavior situation. They go, I I've released numerous videos discussing the Fun Pimps and my view on them. I am the only creator that walked away from the creative program when they first started their crap. What's up? I asked them, I just have some basic questions. I'm not going to ask you to get too publicly involved unless you want to. How exactly does a creative program work from start to finish? Obviously, you reach out and you are either accepted or denied, but how communicative are they during the whole process? Do they clarify the standards that they wanted you guys to utilize? For example, Josh said there was no contract he had to sign or anything, but I assume there's also a you signed on for this, and yes, so there is a legally binding contract of some sort. Again, speaking of like an end user license agreement. They said, I was accepted in the 7 days to die creative program. I was in it for over a year, actually. I think it was 2 years. I was accepted prior to Lurkit being used. I'm sure Jawoodle was as well. Later, the Fun Pimps went over to Lurkit. We had to create a profile on Lurkit from what, and this isn't like the actual program. This is how they distribute keys. So for promotional events, certain content creators get access to free keys so that they can give it to their community. You know, their people in the Discord, a free version of the game. From what I recall, there was no legally binding contracts or anything. I distinctly remember the day that they told us in the Discord we were not allowed to talk about the things going on in the Discord. Understandable. We were told the reason why was because they wanted to make sure the people felt okay to talk about things without it getting published. There was no sign here on the dotted line, and don't talk about this. Lurkit offered jobs for the games we were part of. We chose whether or not we wanted to interact with those. We did the video or stream. Once it's done on Lurkit, we copy and paste the URL. After it's verified, Lurkit sends the acknowledgement. If something was received for this, such as a game key, the game key was sent. In the case of updates, a code is given that is copy and pasted in Steam. Once pasted, the update automatically starts. That is basically everything that happens. There's probably one or two things that I'm forgetting. It has been a minute. If you are actually curious, I did post a video when I chose to leave. I talked about the reasons why I left. Not sure if that answered any questions. They asked me if you were asking me the steps so that you can attempt to join. They have application all the time. I wouldn't say I would recommend doing it, but everyone has to make their choices. If you are somehow or another attempting to figure out whether or not Jawoodle is in the right or wrong, that's going to be up to the lawyers to decide, not us. It should never have to come to that. It was a serious overstep. And I agree. Hopefully, what I've gathered so far, and we'll get to my opinion afterwards, because what you guys are watching, I fucking wrote this video, so I already know what's going on. But I agree. The courts are ultimately going to figure it out. It's either going to be something we agree with or something we don't, depending on your perspective of Josh and his handling of the situation, and the Fun Pimps and their handling of the situation. I do kind of line up with her where it is an overstep. The message goes on, I ask, no, I'm not attempting to join, I'm merely trying to get to the bottom of how this could have happened in the first place. So, when they gave you guys the update patches, how did that work? Was it a Discord link to a URL and then a password that all of you received, or was it a one-time password style so they could track who used their links and prevent people from giving it to their friends? I'm pretty sure that everyone is aware that the only way Josh could have gotten that content was directly, because no one has ever seen a mod with unfinished bandits. It's the dumbest fucking thing. I just don't understand how he got one link and everyone else besides one reported content creator got a similar build as him but didn't end up posting the content. We'll talk about that in a bit. They respond back. Typically, when there was an information to be disseminated, it usually started with a header to tell this to the communities, or don't tell this to communities, and insert information, whatever it was. As far as updates, big updates, Lurkit simply gave a code, and that code was plugged in. That's the same method I showed you guys earlier. The page that Jawoodle shows in this video of what Lurkit sent is exactly how it would look. When people claim that he should have known it was the wrong version, it would have likely been from the context clues having to do with the stuff that they have covered already. Not anything that would have shown up with that code. The reason being is typically they're doing updates and pushing those right up until the last moment, giving us the actual version of would have been pointless. As far as turning it on and finding out there would have been more things in there than originally thought, or things that are hidden in the files, that was always a given. There were many times lots of things that had been changed or added or taken out were never put in the patch notes. And from what I understand, the patch notes were not even added until well after his video was up, which is confirmed. Not only confirmed by Josh, Jawoodle, but the Fun Pimps, and Behavior Interactive. So I asked, just to clarify, you each got an independent link for the URL download. I was just trying to make it simple. The reason I'm asking is because it would indicate that there is a possibility that the independent handler of the content code could have goofed up, but it also could have been targeted. It's not just Josh digging around where he wasn't supposed to. Two other content creators both told me that Jawoodle's internal image with the Fun Pimps was somewhat unfavorable, especially among some developers and leadership members. Is this something you know of and or disagree with or have seen personally? They said, in the Discord, we were informed that a new mission would appear in Lurk It. We would log into Lurk It and open the message, and that's where we got the code. They say it is well known that many updates that they were pushed through an earlier alpha, I think alpha 21 through 23, but I'm not 100% sure on the exact one. Several updates were pushed through specifically because you would have found blocks that the zombies couldn't path. It was a back and forth battle that lasted for a couple of years. I'm not sure if you saw the video that he created after 2.0, but it's worth a watch. And it was the first time where he openly criticized the game in, it was fair, but it was like a more serious tone. While all the video was made with respect and with a hope for a better game, the Fun Pimps made it abundantly clear during the town hall meeting that was held afterwards that they were very upset. Not by words so much, but as by attitude. Well, I can't say for sure whether or not they did or did not like him because that was never stated plainly. Given the egos that I know exist, I have to assume they found him very irritating. As far as any background conversation that happened in the Discord between them, I don't know. All I know is my conversation with the mods in the Discord, they never appreciated anybody speaking critically of the game, even in a small way. Now, this mindset is about 50-50 based on the people I talked to. I think like 8 or 9 people were this way, and then there's like 10 people that I talked to that wanted to talk to me at least, that said they never really seen any open hostility towards a content creator based on their content issuing of the game. What is very interesting is the emails I have from this one content creator. So this is somebody, I looked up, they have it on their YouTube channel, like for any business inquiries, message this. So I reached out. Now, from the time I reached out to the time he answered back, so I sent the first message, I think it was about almost 2 days. Like, he was they were one of the first people I talked to or sent the message out to, and I got an answer about 2 days later. So in all my approaches, I pretty much said the same thing, except I didn't like auto type or copy and paste much. I said, hello, my name is Daniel. I'm a small content creator on YouTube under the nickname Elite02K. That's me. The reason I'm reaching out to you is to ask if you could help me with my own investigation into the Jawoodle and Fun Pimps drama. I understand if you don't want anything to do with this and completely get it if you tell me no. I'm reaching out to all 7 Days to Die content creators I can possibly think of, and I've been part of your community for about 5 years now and love your content. Just let me know if you want to help and we can discuss further. Thank you. Heart emoji. I'm all about love. I'm all about love. I love you guys. So they state, hey there, I can't talk about certain details as I'm under NDA involving their partnership program, but I don't know what, like, there was 5 or 6 people who directly said they were under NDA, and then there was a couple people like, oh, well, probably, you know, I don't know, I didn't read the fucking subprint. But I can try to help you as best as I can without causing myself some legal issues with breaches of it. I just looked at your channel and seen your video talking about it. I watched maybe the first 20 minutes of it, and I'm surprised that you didn't have more subscribers, to be honest. I might get prideful during this. I do appreciate this person for being so nice about this. I can't believe you posted that with no editing. LOL. I guess, yeah, I'd be willing to help another person trying to make it happen and grow with this. What exactly do you have in mind with this, though? I imagine you were trying to make this into content. Of course. I love making content. So I was very directly with anybody who asks. I would hopefully assume that you would think I'm going to make a video on this. Why the fuck would I be asking anybody directly for help on a situation that's not going to, like, you know, So I messaged him back. I forgot to blur out my email, but it is whatever. I'll be honest with you. Yes, I do want to make further content on this. I'm interested I'm in the interest of honesty and trust. While I do plan on making a video on it, I've had a bit of displeasure. Thank you. That was a tongue twister with the Fun Pimps since the whole Alpha 21 debacle. That's a stupid situation. I'm not even going to bring it up. Even though this is the case, there seems to be a lot of confusion on this in the community of how could this happen rather than who is in the wrong, as most people seem to support Josh over this. I just want to get to the bottom of this. And this is true. I really don't have any malicious intent with this. I just want to know why this happened. Pretty much what I'm doing is a full public investigation, gathering what people already know from the public posts involving both parties, and I'm trying to get to a better understanding of the situation from creators specifically focused on 7 Days to Die or involved in the partnership program for it. It's going to be irritating for the community to understand what might have happened while waiting for copyright court proceedings playing out, and we end up getting the results of it. I just more or less need you to answer the following questions. I'll send the entire thing to you and you can answer. It felt like I was doing a fucking deposition in some people's discords. I felt bad for it. And you can answer as you have the time to. I understand with, I blurred out how many thousand viewers he has. Posting multiple videos a day, sometimes your schedule's got to be at least a little packed, LOL. Here's what I want to know. If you can't answer, just say you can't talk about it or won't talk about it or something to indicate as such. How long have you been a content creator and how much of that time has been spent focused on content involving 7 Days to Die? Out of that time, how long have you been involved with their partnership program? Do you get paid for your coverage of the game? How much have you interacted with people involved in the studio or its leadership outside of the content manager? So like their Discord. The actual creator partnership functions. I'm not sure how much you can talk about it, but can you describe how it works to the best of your ability? How far ahead of content releases do they normally give you guys access to early access content passwords? Have you heard either directly or indirectly whether people at the studio have an opinion of Josh or not? If so, what is it? In your honest opinion of the situation from an insider's point of view, what do you think happened? How do you think he got access to that content? And do you think in any way there was malice? If you were asked to edit out content relating to the material that wasn't supposed to be shown, what would your response be in a similar situation? And this is more or less just me like feeling out what would you guys do if you were in a similar situation of you didn't have any malice, it wasn't your mistake, you're just a part of it, but they want you to be the entire reason to fix it? And I think that's bullshit. So lastly, I said, again, I appreciate you taking your time for doing this and completely understand if you can't answer certain things. Please be as detailed as you can without getting yourself in trouble. Also, I plan on using our conversation for the video, whether it be screenshots of the entire thing or screenshots excluding anything you ask me to remove, or if you don't want me to use it any at all, but allow me to verbally read the manuscript, I'll only do whatever you want me to. And they respond, no problem, I can't hate the hustle, haha. Yeah, I'll answer whatever I can the best I can. I'm kind of glad that this guy allowed me to use pretty much, and I sent him the screenshots after I edited them out and make sure if it was fine, and thank you for your involvement in this. So they say, no problem, I can't hate the hustle, haha, yeah, I'll answer whatever the best I can. Pretty much, I've been on YouTube for almost 12 years. I found 7 days around, I blanked out that date for, I don't know, identifying reasons, because a friend recommended it to me. I maybe had 1,000 subs at the time, so I made a video of it, and it blew up within a week, and it got me around 3K subs. As of the partnership program, I think I'm coming up on 6 years. It was during COVID. As far as I'm aware, I'm friends with quite a few of the other 7 Days to Die gals and 7 Days guys and gals, and no one has ever mentioned being paid by them. I know I don't cash-wise. I guess the free keys we get might classify as payment, but that's mostly promotional or for something nice to do for our viewers. But we don't get paid on any content that we do. I've talked to a couple of the dev team members, but nothing intimately. Communication happens mostly through the Discord server we're in, and through email if it becomes somewhat official / legal. It's very rare though. As for the actual program and its functions, I will have to be somewhat limited here. I can only talk about stuff they allow us to and stuff that's already public knowledge. They use Lurk to distribute game keys and stuff like that, but it's mostly through Discord communications otherwise. It's similar to how a normal Discord server works, where there's a general chat where we can all talk, and then chats that are only for utilization of the devs' purposes. They normally give us the password for Steam and all the rules for the new content through there, and as far as I'm aware, we all get the same passwords for early content. They usually give us a rundown conversation via voice chat or live streams talking about general stuff, nothing too special though. How early we get early access content depends on what it is and how public they don't want us to be, really. Sometimes it's a few days just to give us a head start on recording and editing, sometimes a week or two. I think there was one time where we got it a month early, but that's very rare as they almost always push patches to the content right up until release. They're constantly changing things and editing the game files and doing balances. Again, that really seems to depend on whether they want us to showcase something or whether we just get a head start. It's similar. It's very similar to typical experimental public builds on Zomboid, Valheim, or other early access games, except we sometimes get fun stuff the public experimental builds don't get. Usually for the more secret stuff they give it to us, they ask us not to post until the embargo deadline. Then we film what we can, edit what we can, and we have a few videos ready to go right on release of the content drop. I can't remember too many times I've been asked to send them videos for approval. It might have been a few times or so over the years. I can't recall directly hearing about displeasure or disdain for Josh from any of the devs that I've talked to, but I'm almost sure he's not their favorite. At times, leadership definitely seems prideful, and we all watched the live stream video when Alpha 21 first came out, and it came across as them blaming players for why bandits aren't in the game yet. I don't know a whole lot of people that were exactly happy about that live stream, as it did somewhat come across as arrogant towards the community. I guess it wouldn't really surprise me if they did, because Josh, as we all know, loves to test the game mechanics and different Horde Night builds to make these zombies wig out, and even sometimes cheese Horde Nights. They can't exactly enjoy that because it causes them to do more work patching the zombie pathing, even though it's their own choice to do so. Now, for context, I'll show you the video he's talking about. So, for context on this, they're talking about, will there be future support for modding, and will they be introducing workshop for the game? And this is what currently goes on.
Well, actually, hold on. I did see one. Steam Workshop. Because I saw someone saying something about it earlier. We told you a while back that we're doing that.
Well,
that is in the plans.
Hey, yes, we have a staff member. Many of us love mods, support mods, have done so much work to make sure mod support is working no matter what we do. That's part of our DNA. We're not against the modders, we're with the modders. We're for them, just so you all know. We can't do everything that we want, but sometimes they can. And that's good.
Yeah, we have a roadmap that we are focused on, so I mean it's good if they can add in different things, but the bandits y'all keep bringing up, we are working towards them, as we said just a minute ago, and that's where we're going to try to stay focused on that as best as we can.
We are, just so you know, when we're reacting to feedback and we're changing our production plan, we are effectively delaying bandits, just so you know. So when you request a lot of stuff and you come in numbers and you ask for it and we say, all right, we're listening, we're going to do this, that costs us time.
This is the most out of touch shit ever. Indirectly blaming the players for content not being released. Are you fucking kidding me? Now we're gonna go down the rabbit hole. How many copies has 7 Days to Die sold? So it's sold over 20 million copies worldwide since its initial release. I think, and we're not even gonna. Oh, no, I've already done the math. Shut up. Can I? No, I can't. I can't delete that. So for context, we have 20 million copies sold right? Well, let's overly fairly say that all those copies were sold in early access. We'll be fair, and we'll be more than fair and do the early access price. So we have 20 million, right? 20 million times $24.99, right? That's $500 million, you arrogant motherfuckers. And people are gonna say, well, Daniel, that's not fair because the game was in early access for 13 years. Fuck you guys. You guys are no fun. But I'm going to disprove you. That doesn't matter. So we'll check this out. And I'll even be more fair. We'll take 0.85. We'll take 15% away for Steam sales, right? That's still $425 million. And then we're going to divide that by 13. You guys have made, and granted, this is an average, this isn't year by year, you guys have on average made $32.7 million on this fucking game since you made it every single year. You guys employ 30 people, and you guys have even gone so far as to buy mods from players and implement it into your game. You fucks. I want this video to be as fair as possible, but I'm going to have an aneurysm. I'm going to give myself a fucking stroke. How dare you? And I'm not the only one who hated this video. There was a massive uproar for this. The comment sections on YouTube are always fun. The town hall, they had no features of a town hall, no questions in chat was answered. The dev shifted blame on not delivering what was promised for 1.0. It's more of a clown show, if anything. How is it the modding community can do any better of a job than you guys can? The biggest misstep here was trying to change what started as a survival sandbox and then putting it on rails to achieve the storyline you wanted. I don't think making a cohesive sandbox with a story is easy by any means, but the approach was a very sudden shift and it left a bad taste in veterans' mouth. What is needed is a story based around Navezgane, in my opinion. Make that first, then figure out how to apply those elements into the random world generation without putting it on rails. That is what players want. Now, this is 80% of the comments on this video are negative. This blew up. This was like the first big major controversy. They were actively saying that players' expectations were the reason why they were not able to do this one piece of content. And that's what pissed everybody off. Josh did make some public opinions about it. Some of the other content creators did. Going back to it, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. Oh, there we are. I really don't know what happened, but I have some opinions. I've talked to Josh personally before. A lot of us in here are in, or a lot of us are in each other's discords, and most 7 Days creators definitely mingle together as work associates and even as friends sometimes. I'm almost sure he didn't intend for what happened out of any malice or anything. We all should have gotten the same key, and I believe we did because that was another content creator that also seen Bandits. It was Bandits. So many Bandits. We still love Bandits. Fucking shots. Shot. Everybody! Also had some problems where he cut Bandits out because he was the only one. He only found them in debug mode, and when he saw they were functioning weirdly, he just cut them out and didn't mention them. I know Josh wasn't the only person that saw them, but it definitely wasn't a whole lot of people that did. Personally, I think that the Pimps accidentally left Bandit files in the build we were all playing and forgot to take them out, and Josh being Josh and the heavily curious person he is, ended up finding them, got excited, decided to spawn them in and play around with them for a bit. I watched the video before it got struck and taken down, and I'm almost entirely sure this is what happened. I can't say I have not immediately gone down, gotten a new private build where they were working on it and went right into console commands and had some fun looking around. It's common for almost all of us to do. I guess it wouldn't be too far off. I wouldn't be too far off with Josh on his reaction. While it technically is a breach of NDA, it wasn't exactly his fault the bandit files were in the game build that we played where... Oh. It wasn't exactly his fault the bandit files in the build we played were in there and in the state they were in. They asked him to either edit or remove the content, and he offered to edit the videos as long as the time to edit was financially accounted for. I've seen people in comment section, including yours, referring to mine, referring to this as extortion, and I don't think that's the case, since there's no reason to believe what happened on Josh's side was out of any purposeful intent. Could he have cut it out anyways because the bandits and chicken coops were in a obviously unfinished state? Sure. But I'd also claim ignorance on Josh's behalf, because why would they be in the game if they didn't want the content to be eventually seen? Really, this could go either way in court, but my suspicion is Josh will probably win out of ignorance. I don't really feel comfortable with a legal battle over something so stupid, so I might have caved to the demand just to get it over with and out of my face. But clearly Josh doesn't feel that way, and I personally can't think negatively of him for it. I hope this helps you. I think it's neat of you to do. I'm a huge fan of coffee, so this is where I got the joke. And it feels kind of like something he'd do. I don't mind you using the conversation. All I ask is that you refer to me, you don't refer to me by name, and edit as much personal information that could identify me or the channel out of it, especially my sub count and name, email address. That's, yeah. If there's anything else I can help with, just ask, and my apologies for taking so long on this response. Like you said, I get a bit, yeah, they don't need to know that. But anyways, I talked to a bunch of other people too, but like most people either said the same thing or just outright said, hey, I'll tell you what happened, but don't use it for material, and I'm going to respect that. I ultimately agree with this content creator. I want to hate the Fun Pimps, and I do still hate the Fun Pimps, but I can't. The people who are like, oh, well, Jawoodle got set up. That is almost entirely not possible. What I think happened is somebody forgot to go through the data files and make sure all the not safe to show content was not there. Josh should not be liable for this. Whoever was responsible for clearing those files to be used should absolutely be fired for it. They should have compensated Josh for the editing time. 100% is what it is. This whole situation could have been avoided if they said, hey, we fucked up. Can you edit the video? Let us know how much time it's going to take for you to edit all the content out of the video. The bandits, again, where are the bandits, Fun Pimps, and the chicken coop content, edit it out. Let us know how much it is and how much you expect to lose from the time the videos are down. That is the only proper response that should have been given. Josh then would have been liable for, hey, that's not enough for me. Then he would have looked like the asshole. But we don't know ultimately what would have happened with that because the Fun Pimps didn't allow it to go there. I also think the Fun Pimps really dropped the ball on this. Not only did they fuck up, they took what could have been an easy W and turned it not into one loss, but two. If I was the head of public relations for the Fun Pimps, what I would have done is settle the thing with Josh, and then I would have come out and said, hey, what was shown in a creator's video, some of you guys seen it, wasn't intended to be publicly available content. We understand that there's a lot of frustration in the community over this one specific content that we've been promising for years. A lot of you have even been saying that we aren't even working on it. And if you watch the video, you would see that they're almost in a working state. They walk around, they defend themselves, they don't attack, but they're in a somewhat functioning state. We hope you guys take this you, the community, take this as a proof of, hey, I know it's been taking forever, but we are trying to do our jobs. Bandits are coming, hopefully in another build or two. End story. Do you know how hyped the community would have been about this? Number one, no PR disaster for them with Josh. Number two, they verified that the content they've been promising for like the last 6 to 10 years is actually coming into the game. It's already kind of in the game, and they're working on it. They're actively working on it, and that was proof. They could have done that. They didn't. I think it just a total loss on all ends. On all ends. And I can't believe that nobody had fucking more than 10 brain cells to realize this. So, that's kind of the whole thing. If there's any more responses to it, anything new that pops up, I will probably make another video on it. But as of right now, consider this maybe the last Jawoodle Fun Pimps video. Yeah, that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please leave a like and subscribe. Do your boy a favor. I want to be rich and famous. Ooh, I want to have 8 babies. I want to have a Lamborghini. I want you to help me achieve it. If you help me achieve it, dear viewers, I will donate to you, sexy bitches, one of my kidneys and my right testicle. No, you cannot have the left one. That one is my favorite. His name is Ernie.